Crowds cheered as the bicycle rolled onto the newly paved streets of Chicago. Its pivotal difference from other models, a simple chain drive, had created a revolutionary machine that would captivate the public over the next half-decade. This device, known as the safety bicycle, was a vast improvement over previous versions, transforming a dangerous, cumbersome vehicle into something anyone could ride. It would overturn many ideals of the Victorian era, ending a period that author Mark Twain called an era of serious social problems hidden by a thin layer of gold, for it is a period marked by wealth and freedom for some, but poverty and oppression for most. The bicycle craze sparked the decline of the repressive Victorian era United States, proving to be a turning point in infrastructure, social attitudes, health, fashion, and women's rights.
As early as 1816, the public developed interest in human-propelled devices, or velocipedes, beginning with the running machine, a device where riders would push their feet against the ground to glide forward. Deemed too impractical, it died away after only 2 years, and over the next several decades, mechanics struggled to invent a successful velocipede. For many years, inventors faced stringent opposition from skeptics who thought that an effective human-propelled vehicle was impossible. One editor stated, "Man is a locomotive machine of nature's own making, not to be improved by the addition of any mortal invention," while another asserted, "The velocipede is evidently incapable of delivering any useful service." Just as most were beginning to give up, a pedal-powered vehicle emerged from France in 1866, the first true bicycle. However, slow, jarring wooden wheels limited its success. Later versions during the early 1880s had a larger front wheel to facilitate faster speeds, but could be incredibly unsafe. In the late 1880s, inventors discovered a breakthrough that would lead to the safety bicycle, completely revolutionizing transportation. Known as the chain drive, it allowed for much more efficient power transfer, multiplying the bicycle's speed and eliminating the need for gigantic wheels. Coupled with air-cushioned pneumatic tires, the safety bicycle soon became faster, safer, and more comfortable than any other velocipede. It eventually grew immensely popular, sparking the golden age of the bicycle.
How does any particular pastime accelerate and gain widespread popularity? It's probably one person to the next, and then exponentially you finally have a critical mass of people who are enjoying it. So I think it was the kind of thing that once people tried it, they loved it.
As people discovered its practicality, the safety bicycle began to be used for everything from postal to police work, and was even adopted by the military. Even more promising, average citizens could now use the bicycle for everyday errands, as it was much more efficient and inexpensive than the electric trolleys of the time. One writer wrote in 1892, "The bicycle's effect upon development of cities would be nothing short of revolutionary. It would reduce the filth incessantly deposited in city streets by animals, and eliminate the exasperating noise and confusion of city life, and thus the main source of nervousness that so universally afflicts city dwellers." Despite such optimism, some still oppose the use of the safety bicycle. Bicycles frightened horses, causing accidents and arousing animosity. Rumors even spread that bicycles cause kidney problems and cancer. Slowly, bicycle activists overcame their opponents through rallies, gaining many supporters in urbanized areas, where roads were decent enough to ride on. However, rural areas were plagued by terrible dirt roads, isolating 95% of the US population, and diminishing the bicycle's popularity. To overcome this problem, activists rallied for smoother roads, beginning a crusade that would extend into the automobile age. Responding to continued pressure of nearly 1 million organized cyclists, Congress passed several road improvement laws, and in 1893 initiated the U.S. Department of Road Inquiry. This department later developed the nation's first asphalt-paved roads, which quickly became the gold standard in both cities and rural areas. Soon afterward, the nation's first highways were created, transforming the Victorian era's haphazard ruddy roads into an interconnected highway system.
It really changed the landscape of America, literally, by having roads start to be paved. And, that's the other major impact, because it allowed, when automobiles came into being, it allowed them to be driven on these roads that were built because of the bicycle, and it also allowed farmers to get their goods to market and manufacturers a lot more easily.
As cyclists began to roam the newly paved roads, the safety bicycle transformed both American lives and social attitudes. On the open road, cyclists found tranquility and fellowship. As the bicycle gained popularity, the old Victorian preconceptions of morality and proper conduct were undermined by the freedom experienced by those who rode the wheel. As bicyclists rode side by side, strict racial and class separation began to dissolve, narrowing the gap between the rich and the poor. Children went on bicycle outings without supervision, and cyclists exchanged greetings with complete strangers, a practice unheard of among pedestrians. The New York Times wrote in 1896, "The bicycle is the great leveler, for not till all Americans got on bicycles was the great American principle that every man is just as good as any other man fully realized." The popularity of the safety bicycle also led to a general improvement in the nation's health and welfare. Before the boom, exercise was uncommon and seen as superfluous. The bicycle, however, overturned sedentary beliefs and poor exercise habits plaguing the Victorian era. One source declared in 1895, "The bicycle has done more to foster love of outdoor life than any other invention." For the first time, doctors promoted exercise, especially cycling. The bicycle even aided the temperance movement, as people chose to drink less rather than topple off their bikes. One of the most striking social impacts of the bicycle boom was the surge for women's rights reform that brought an end to the appalling social conditions and patriarchal oppression of the Victorian era. For centuries, women had been trapped by societal confinement and strict clothing standards. The safety bicycle turned fashion on its head. Women tossed their bone-crushing corsets and voluminous dresses to avoid suffocating and catching their skirts in the spokes, exchanging their confining apparel for loose outfits called bloomers. For the first time, women enjoyed an unprecedented freedom of movement that translated to a freedom of mind, proving to be so delightful they united to fight for more. The moment a woman takes her seat, away she goes, the picture of free, untrammeled womanhood. A seed is sown that may ripen into the demand for full suffrage, Susan B. Anthony declared. Bicycling has done more to emancipate women than anything else in this world.
The boom began to fade in late 1896 as automobiles grew in popularity. Rather than a replacement, the automobile is actually an evolution of the safety bicycle, incorporating many of its features, such as brakes, gears, and the chain drive. In fact, the automobile mass production process, popularly credited to Henry Ford, was the successor of the bicycle assembly line. As public fascination shifted to the automobile, the golden age of the bicycle came to a close. But in those 6 years, the safety bicycle had proved to be a remarkably practical and versatile machine, earning popular appreciation for its profound contributions to the emerging way of life. Many call the interest taken in bicycling a fad, but they are wrong. A fad has no substance. It is ephemeral and has no real foundation. On the other hand, bicycling is very real. It has brought a degree of perfection never before reached in regular construction. And this is the reason why bicycling is not a fad, but something that is going to last so long as men and women have legs. Brooklyn Life, 1895. Rising from the ashes of scorn, the safety bicycle overcame adamant opposition to become the popular vehicle it is today. It turned around many of the appalling social conditions that plagued the Victorian era, ushering in an age of improved transportation and providing an impetus for social reform. Every time I see an adult on a bicycle, I no longer despair for the future of mankind, proclaimed author H.G. Wells. Today, the bicycle is riding a new crest of popularity. Even now, it continues its journey into the modern world as a popular mode of transport and a renowned competitive sport. In many countries, the bicycle remains the largest and cheapest form of transportation, easing congestion and reducing pollution. The bicycle even eradicates poverty, as it allows people to travel further and transport more goods while reducing the time it takes, increasing economic opportunity. Regardless of what lies ahead, the bicycle's rich and colorful history projects the future as bright as its past.